a new year, and the world is growing more complicated and more fast-paced all the time, in my opinion. What is your view of your worldview as we go into 2012? What do you see happening out there?
People are starting to take action on marketing again for a while. They're starting to hire people again. I don't know if it'll continue, but it's kicking off to a good, exciting start. I think that they've realized after a couple of years of, battening the hatches and minimizing spending that doesn't help growth. You can only save your way to so much revenue, and then you've got to grow. And so I think companies are starting to take a look at how do we grow again, and marketing plays a big role in that. Lead generation plays a big role.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people are starting to catch on. I also saw some really interesting data last week that 60% of the buying process is complete before they ever talk to your company.
Isn't
And
that
I don't know if you
amazing?
saw that data, but what's your thought on that?
I think it's true. There's a book that I read not too long ago, and I'm drawing a blank on the title, but they really talked about the whole sales process and or buying process is a better way to put it, and how salespeople are usually involved in the last sort of 5% that prospects are involved in, which is create the short list and make a selection. And meanwhile, prospects spend 95% of their time doing things before that, identifying the need, determining that they are going to actively look for a solution to their problem, that they start trying to figure out what their requirements are and how they're going to measure the ability of different vendors or suppliers to stand up to those measurements. All of that happens before they engage in today's world. They're out there asking their friends, they're searching on the web, they're using social media to find out who they should be shortlisting, and then they engage. And by that point, it may be too late if we haven't been reaching them through all those other avenues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we just live in a self-service world today, and I think people need to get used to it. I'll tell you an interesting story. If you watch television like I do, and I'm a big sports fan, you see car commercial after car commercial after car commercial. And I asked somebody one time, I said, "You're starting to shop for a new car. What's the first thing you do?" And he said, "I go online and I research it. And I find out, which cars are best and who has there's Motor Trend and Car and Driver and everything." And I said, "So the TV ads have no effect?" And he said, "Absolutely not. But these car companies spend a fortune on advertising cars." So I think the world still has to catch up with, what's really happening out there. What's your take on that?
I think that's true. I believe that the car advertising sometimes puts a product on somebody's radar to go take a look at on the web, to go research more in Edmunds.com or Kelley Blue Book or Car and Driver magazine's websites or whatever, and to do the homework. But basically, there has been a shift of where the advertiser, the marketer, the sales organization is in control to where the prospect really is in control now. They're going to go find that information. They're going to come to conclusions on their own, even before they walk into the showroom. Meanwhile, the salesperson at the showroom is probably trying to close them, are you going to buy today kind of methodology that often turns prospects off instead of trying to help them buy, which really is what we should be doing today.
I think that's a good point, Mac, and I think it brings up another important point of looking at the entire picture, because even if you do a pay-per-click ad or a TV ad or a radio ad, you've always got to say, where do they go next? Do they go online? Are they on a social network, or are they going to go to our landing page? You've got to look at the entire process, and it just seems to me you can't just do things in isolation anymore. What's your thought on that?
I agree. I think too often people don't think through the ramifications of their marketing programs or actions. They simply get the ad up there and then we'll worry later about the response and what to do with them. Actually, I had one client recently say that they didn't want people to call them. So they buried their 800 number or their phone number on their website. They didn't want calls. Well, they're trying to, in a sense, in my opinion, make it difficult for that customer, especially the one that prefers to do business by phone, to be able to reach them, to be able to get through to them and do business. Now they're seeing it as a cost saving. They don't have to staff for that, but I think often there are some people that require that human conversation. I'll give an example. I was buying a new laptop recently when one failed of old age, and I was on the web over the weekend, 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, and doing my research. And one of the companies had a click to chat, click to call, and I clicked on to call, and my phone rang a couple of minutes later, and the person said, thanks for inquiring. I guess you requested we give you a call back. How can we help you? And I had a question about the battery, which battery was the extended life one, which one was the bigger one that sort of poked out of the back of the machine, and which was included, which would be extra. And he was able to answer the questions and got my business over the phone, whereas the other company, I wasn't able to get those answers and decided, oh, well, I'll just go ahead with the ThinkPad and not worry about the other brand that lost my sale.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of how it is. I know, Mac, that you started recently a company to consult in the marketing automation space. Talk to us a little. And our sponsor actually a marketing automation software company
Yes,
too. So I think it's appropriate to talk about marketing automation and where it is, and kind of why you see the services need in marketing automation.
That's a great question. I've been consulting on the business-to-business sales leads for years, and only my clients could afford to sort of cobble together their own sort of marketing automation. And often they were at the mercy of the IT department, who always had them low on the list of to-dos. And along came marketing automation software and services, or software as services, that allowed even the little guys and the mid-sized companies to have all the resources available that they would also get from the bigger companies could get. And it was kind of the perfect storm. It was clients were saying, hey, thanks, Mac, for helping us figure out what we should do. Can't you help us get it done? Or they were saying, well, we invested in a particular marketing automation program and we got it, kind of up and running, but where do we go now? What do we do next? So we formed Acquire B2B as a marketing automation services / agency that can help clients with little projects or help them run their marketing automation program for them and everything in between.
Well, Mac, it's been a very interesting discussion, and we've enjoyed having you on Mad Marketing TV, and we thank you and wish you all the best.